the way I see when you're figuring out a biography and a character analysis for your character is sort of the animation is the iceberg, and everything else that informs how your character is operating, gesturing, acting in the scene comes from what's below. And what's below slowly reveals the character through their gestures and their acting. The first 4 things on here are probably going to be decided by the rig that you choose. Age, ethnicity, height, and weight. It just has to do with what they look like. Sex and reproduction can also have a great influence on character work. Creature work. I've done a lot of VFX and creature stuff. So if your character, say, is like the mother alien in Alien 2, where she's protecting all her babies, she's going to act very differently than a different type of creature. But if your character gets around or something, maybe they're going to act a certain way. And believe it or not, I have had to do that in video games. So I'm working on Revolver, and my boss comes in, and he's like, at the time we were doing it for Capcom before it became Rockstar. And my boss comes in and he's like, oh my God, the Japanese are coming and we don't have Gigolo done. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And Gigolo is one of the cowboys that I guess gets around a lot. So I had to do like quick punch, kick, die, tuck, roll, that kind of stuff, you know. But the idol is always in gameplay, is always where you find your character. And I thought, well, if he's a dirty cowboy in old leather chaps and he's called Gigolo, he's just going to kind of move his junk over, you know, as he's standing, right? Sorry to be so graphic, but that's what it is. And also, I had lived in Osaka with Capcom for a while, and I knew how these guys operate. I knew they'd love this. So I did a few with his idol. He's just standing there, and then he just sort of shifts. And then I showed one of the guys, and he's like, Angie, stop moving the fingers so much, you know, and things like that. But we got it looking really good. And then the Japanese came in, and none of them speak English. And they're looking at all the moves. And then as soon as they saw Gigolo, they all went, oh, you know, they just loved it. So yes, sex, reproduction can work into your character is where I'm going with that silly story. Gender, health, intelligence, education, all this stuff should feel pretty straightforward. Evolutionary cycle, again, that's kind of creature if you live for 100 years versus 1 day. All of these are things you can figure out for yourself. I think idiosyncratic movements are really important. It's specific to how you move. Like if you look at your reference, I move my shoulders a lot, so it can make characters look very girly. So many times when I'm doing a more masculine character, I'll have a male friend act it out so I don't get all this shoulder movement in my characters. But those idiosyncratic movements and gestures are what you're looking for specific to your character when you're looking to make them feel like they're coming alive. So out of this list, I jumped to stereotype versus archetype. For me, archetypes are that model that'll cross all cultural boundaries, meaning basically you have an ideal when you're describing a character. I live in East LA, so Vato is a stereotype of OG kind of Latin gangster who wears the fedora and the wingtips, you know, and is all tatted up. That holds cultural baggage. And if I say Vato to people from different parts of the world, they may not know what that means. But if I say hero or empress, people will recognize that symbol overall throughout storytelling. So, taking from Joseph Campbell, which you guys may or may not be familiar with, these are the character archetypes that have come about in all storytelling over the years. So you could choose for your character, maybe they're an underdog and a hero, or underdog and an orphan, or an explorer and a magician. So these are just words that help you get inside the head of your character.